A pleasant day, everyone. Welcome to our exclusive Finance and Accounting webinar. My name is Kat Trasado from F&A Operations, and I am your host today. Namaste to our attendees from India, and mabuhay to folks from the Philippines joining us too. How are you all doing? I'm thrilled to kick off this session on how we're transforming finance and accounting by merging cutting edge technology with human creativity. Today, you'll hear from our leaders about the latest trends, essential skills, and exciting career opportunities at Accenture Operations. Plus, we have a live Q&A where you can ask our experts anything. So get ready for an inspiring journey. Sounds exciting, right? But before we officially start our session, please take note of a few reminders. First, we request your full attention to our discussion. We promise you it'll be interesting. Second, feel free to engage by sharing your questions in the chat. Most important of all, stay present, participate, and enjoy. So let's begin by welcoming two distinguished leaders who are shaping the future of finance and accounting at Accenture Operations. First, we have Shravan Rai, lead finance and accounting. He will walk us through the F&A landscape in India and how it impacts our clients, the solutions we bring, and how Accenture is driving value-led finance transformation. We'll also hear from Stephen Wang, lead finance and accounting. He will provide insights into the Philippines F&A ecosystem and how we are delivering next-gen solutions to create real business impact. Please join me in welcoming Shravan.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And like you said, welcome to all of you. We have close to about 900 people in this webinar. We are happy to walk you through in terms of what we do in Accenture. And remember the keyword that Kat mentioned, relax and enjoy this experience. Right? From an Accenture perspective, we're part of the global Fortune 500 companies. We deliver services to across 1,250 clients overall, right? We service our clients in 45 different languages. But the important thing here is in the industry, we've been pioneers in this market, right? Accenture has been in this game for the last 33 years, and we continue to grow market share and we continue to add value to our clients. What you see on your screens right now is some of what we've been able to achieve, and all of this has been confirmed and attested by our market partners and leading analysts in the industry, right? Just to give you a few details in terms of what we really do, Accenture is spread across multiple verticals in consulting, IT, and operations. Operations, as you might know, is used to be referred to as business process outsourcing, right? Within the operations space, Accenture has been at this for 33 years. We were pioneers of this industry in multiple geographies, not just in India and the Philippines, but overall globally, right? As through the years, what we've focused on is on two critical aspects. The primary one being adding value to our clients and bringing the best of Accenture, which is our people, to the forefront of what the clients really see and partner with, right? We work with, in the operation space, we're close to about 220,000 people, right? We have 50 delivery locations all over the globe. We service our clients in 45 different languages, many of which are in the native language of the clients, right? And all of this is delivered primarily between the human and technology interventions that we really bring, right? We have close to about 10,500 automation solutions that we've delivered for our clients by enhancing our IT capabilities. We have close to about 150,000 roles that we've transformed over the last 30 years. And all of that has resulted in giving back to the clients, right? If you see some of the outcomes that we've been able to deliver, we've really delivered close to about $150 billion of balance sheet impacts to our client and about $45 billion in terms of P&L impact, right? And if you think about how we really do this through our people, right? People are at the core of what we do at Accenture within operations. And what do we communicate in terms of to our people is once we go through a rigorous hiring process in terms of looking at the best in the industry and best in the market, and they then become part of Accenture. But we also spend close to $1 billion annually to ensure that we keep our resources upskilled and trained and ready to be future ready from the client's perspective, right? If you just look at the sheer numbers in terms of how much time our resources really spend on training, we've spent close to about 44 million hours in FY24 just on training and upskilling ourselves. And why that's really important in this world is because the business processes that we really do are evolving every day, right? And some of the new entrants in the market is in the space of artificial intelligence, generative AI. All of you would know it in terms of reading news, going through websites, chat GPT. All of this is going to be disruptive, right? When we talk about disruption in this market, from an Accenture perspective, we believe this is an opportunity for us to add better value to our clients. So we've been pioneers again in terms of enhancing and onboarding these technologies into our platform and our training. And we don't want our people to really miss out on this, right? I'll also talk a little bit about finance and accounting, what this website and this webinar is for. In the finance and accounting space, we continue to be market leaders in providing F&A work to our clients, right? From a market share perspective, we are about 20 to 25% of the market share in this industry, right? And this has been validated. We continue to get recognized by industry analysts, as you see on your screen, for the great work that we do, right? What does finance and accounting really mean is managing the finance and accounting aspects of our client on behalf of our clients and adding value. So it's typically split into order to cash, procure to pay, record to report, and FP&A, right? While we deliver these services are delivered by our strong resourcing group that we have, our people, which are our assets, right? But how we really enable our people is by partnering with all of the ecosystem partners. And who are ecosystem partners? These are tech companies that really, whose tools we really work in the F&A space. It could be SAP, it could be Oracle, it could be HighRadius, Blackline, any tool that you really talk about. We are the number one integrators with them, and we are the number one ecosystem partners with them. By doing this, what we're able to really bring to our clients is value in terms of bringing the best of technology and bringing the best of people back to them, right? With that, I will pass it on to Stephen, who's joining us, who'll talk a little bit more about finance and accounting and what we really do, right?
Thank you, Shravan. It's always a marvel to be reminded of the scale of our global operations in finance and accounting, especially across India and the Philippines, which are our two largest delivery centers in the network.
While we're doing this, while we're waiting for Stephen to come on, what we typically do in finance and accounting is, and there we have Stephen, so I'll pass it on to Stephen. I won't steal his thunder. Thank you, Stephen.
Oh, thank you, Shravan. Again, it's always a marvel, right, to be reminded of the scale of our global operations in finance and accounting, especially across India and the Philippines, given that these are our two largest delivery centers within the network. Good day, everyone. I hope you're all doing fine. As mentioned by Kat, I'm Stephen
So
Wong.
this is what happens when it's live, everyone. Looks like Stefan is still not on, right? But
Am I not?
as Shravan has been sharing, I hope that you're getting to know more about Accenture through our leaders, right? And then hopefully you can really process the opportunities that there are in F&A world.
I'm sorry, Kat, Shravan, are you not able to hear me?
We can hear you now, Stephen. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm sorry. I must be a technical issue. But again, I was just thanking you, Shravan, again. As I said, right, it's definitely good to be reminded of the scale of our operations here for finance and accounting across India and the Philippines, which are our two largest delivery centers. So, to the rest of you, good day. I hope you're all doing okay. As mentioned by Kat, I'm Steven, part of the finance and accounting practice of Accenture here in the Philippines. First of all, uh, congratulations and thank you for taking what is hopefully your first step into a fulfilling and rewarding career with Accenture. Right. Um, Here in the Philippines, Accenture has been a pioneer in the BPO industry, starting with our first IT outsourcing contract way back in the early 2000s. Since then, as you can see on the screen, we have grown to support a very diverse group of clients across various different capabilities. Some of these are well established, like our customer operations practice, while others are emerging capabilities in response to what is happening in the world. Our trust and safety capabilities, for example, are a direct response to the proliferation of fraud, money laundering, and identity theft, both at the individual and corporate level. Our teams across these capabilities make Accenture one of the largest employers here in the Philippines, across our delivery centers in Manila, Cebu, and Ilocos. Now, moving on to the next slide, zeroing in on our finance and accounting practice. Right? Our operations in Accenture are it's unrivaled in terms of both scale and scope. Yeah, with a very diverse talent pool that is 5 times the size of our closest competitor in terms of headcount. Now, day in and day out, our diverse and high performing teams support the back office finance functions of our clients, be it from ensuring that our vendors get paid on time, to making sure all cash receipts are accurately recorded and reconciled, to closing the books at month end and providing financial and management reporting. Our clients are themselves giants in their respective industries, be it in retail, telecommunications, oil and gas, or other industries. And our promise to them is not just to execute these processes flawlessly, but to continuously innovate and push the envelope so that we are able to deliver insights and value to them, right? Now, practically, in some cases, this takes the form of, say, adding controls to ensure our clients are not victims of fraud and phishing. In some, it is developing and deploying AI to, for example, reconcile bank statements with a balance sheet close to real time, right? Which for our clients engaged in retail operations currently requires a significant amount of manpower given the various channels and payment methods available today, right? Now, that being said, across the various accolades and recognition Accenture has received here in the Philippines, there are two that our leaders are particularly proud of. First, our consistent inclusion as one of the best workplaces in the Philippines across all the different industries, which is awarded by the Great Place to Work, because our employee enablement, engagement, and development are world class, right? Being part of a global organization. The second one is LinkedIn's recognition of Accenture as one of the best organizations to build a career, right? Look, given the diversity of our client base, along with the strength of our brand, we are continuously looking to grow. Compared to when I joined Accenture more than 10 years ago, our footprint in finance and accounting has grown in size by double digits each and every year that I've been with the firm. Now, with this growth comes opportunity. All of us are constantly cross training and learning new skills, such as learning how to work with agentic AI, as we need to constantly upskill to support new and existing clients with their changing needs. Right now that you mentioned it, as I think about it, right, in the past 3 years, a disproportionate amount of the training that I've taken has been more on the technology side than it has been in terms of building my core finance capability. Right? This also means that there are significant opportunities for career progression. Amidst concerns over the slowdown of the global economy, given today's macroeconomic and political environment, our finance and accounting practice in the Philippines We will end our fiscal year promoting one out of every four eligible team members, which is absolutely amazing. Right now, those two awards that validates why we have team members who have been with the firm for more than 20 years, some of whom actually started as analysts doing collections to now being a managing director leading a team of thousands supporting the finance function of a Fortune 500 company. Right, this commitment and investment in our people is the reason I personally have spent half of my professional life with Accenture, and I hope that really excites you. With that, I'll hand back to Kat for the next part of the program. Kat?
Thank you. All I heard was vast opportunities and that Accenture is a leader in F&A. Thank you again, Shravan and Stephen. It's inspiring to see how our next gen solutions and industry expertise are driving real impact for our clients. By the way, just a shout out, I see from the audience we also have from Netherlands, Paris, Mexico joining us. With that, let's move on to our next segment, where we dive deeper into the critical skills needed to thrive in the evolving world of finance and accounting. Please keep all your questions ready as we will open the floor in a bit for our Q&A segment. And before that, let's have a chat with our experts as you think of your questions for later. Shravan, why not let's start with you, sir? With AI and automation transforming finance operations, what are the most important skills finance professionals need to develop to stay ahead?
That's a fantastic question, right, Kat? And that's probably on top of our all of our minds in terms of what we really need to do in this new world with ever disrupting technologies, right? The one thing that I've learned being part of Accenture, like Stephen mentioned, right, we've all been with Accenture for a multitude of years. The one thing, the mantra, if you can call that in Accenture, is fear of failure is not a friend of innovation, right? What's really important is that we accept change. We look at what's changing around us and how do you really enhance it and use it to our benefits. If you look at it from an automation perspective for the last 15, 20 years, there has been RPAs, there have been tools that have disrupted. When we came in, we believed that that would disrupt the industry and maybe create lots of jobs. That didn't happen because we as human beings adapted and enhanced our capabilities. With generative AI, again, it's a new set of technologies that's coming in. It is going to be disruptive, but as human ingenuity comes in, I think the key is going to be that we are going to be able to use AI to our advantage, right? Stephen probably mentioned a bit of that in what he said, right? What we used to do 10 years ago, we don't do it the same way today, right? Every day we look at things that we enhance and change, right? A simple invoice processing has changed, right? We don't even touch an invoice today. The supplier submits an invoice, it goes through the system, gets posted, gets paid, everybody is happy, right? But what do our people really do around it? Is they're looking at that data and making informed decisions. And that's where AI really helps us, right? So I think the important thing there, Kat, is for us to accept it, adapt to it, and use it to our advantage, right? That's the key thing that I would look at it. And Accenture is doing a great job, right? Stephen mentioned we spend close to $1 billion on training, and this is where all that money goes, right? Making us as resources ready for the future, right?
Thank you,
Thank you.
Shravan. Great perspective there. And to our audience, I hope you're taking down notes because those are really good tips. Sir Stephen, I'm bringing you on in here. How is Accenture Operations supporting finance professionals in building this future ready capability?
Right. Thanks, Kat, for that question. So, look, we've all of us, right? Those of are already in the industry, those of you who might be looking into getting into the industry as part of the audience right now, we've all heard these doom and gloom pronouncements around how generative AI and agentic AI will eliminate a lot of the work that's currently being done out of by the industry, right? Yes, that is partially true in the sense that a lot of today's work will be done by bots, autonomous bots in the future, right? To answer your question, Kat, I look at it two ways, right? In terms of the support that the organization provides us, in two ways. So I look at it from a breadth perspective and from a depth perspective. And I kind of touched on it earlier, and Shravan expounded it. From a breadth perspective, definitely we need to know, right? We cannot be ignorant to what is available from a technology standpoint, right? Or importantly, it's not just about knowing what it can do, but also what its limitations are, right? Take the example I mentioned earlier. In the past, a huge volume task like reconciling bank transactions with a balance sheet on a daily basis, that used to be done by individuals. Now that's being done by an AI asset, right? At the pace and accuracy level no human can match. Is an AI application right for that? Definitely. That's why we did it, right? But would I actually want, or would I be as enthusiastic, at least for now, in allowing AI to make a complex decision around whether or not a certain customer should receive a credit line? And if so, how much that credit line should be? Not at this stage. I don't want to say never, but at this point in time, that is still a task that I would want um, an analytical mind who can synthesize information from various different sources doing, right? And that understanding of what solutions to pursue to solve the problem in front of you and your client requires you first and foremost to understand what options are available, the pros and cons of each, and more importantly, how do we apply it. So from a breadth perspective, definitely developing our skills around digital technology puts us in that position where we're able to support our clients the best way possible. From a depth perspective, and again, we both, Sharvan and I, touched on it earlier, what we've seen in finance and accounting is as more routinary work gets automated, there's continuous demand from our clients to upskill and support them with more complex tasks. Right? In my team, for example, while we have automated roles in general accounting, our client has then asked us to upskill and have these resources, these members of my team, support their treasury function, right? Which is are related, but not a not. I mean, it's a different skill set, right? Same thing with being a financial controller. Whereas in the past, the expectation was for us to process. Now we're being asked to be financial controllers and safeguard their business. Right? So from that point of view, we also need to upskill ourselves, and the organization helps us provide that. The other thing from a depth perspective is the industry know-how knowledge, right? Being able to understand the industries that our clients operate in. Something like fixed assets. Managing fixed assets for for a retail organization is very very different from managing fixed assets for an upstream oil and gas organization that's involved in all these huge drilling rigs operating those, right? So being able to understand that, and that have being able to apply that industry lens, that's only made available to us because of all the training that we're being provided by Accenture. So that's how I would say Accenture definitely supports me as an individual, and how it supports all of our different employees.
All right, you heard it, guys. It's clear that continuous learning, digital fluency, and adaptability are shaping the future of finance and accounting. So thank you to Shavana and Stephen here for educating us this afternoon. Now we move on to another exciting part of our session. Some of you might be waiting, right? This is our live Q&A now. This is your chance to ask questions directly to our leaders and recruitment experts. So feel free to chat or type your questions in the chat box, and we'll get to them as soon as we can. Before we begin, let me introduce the recruitment team who are here today as well to help answer any career related queries you may have. From India, we have Sagar Kali. And from the Philippines, let's welcome Julie Marzan and Joanna Gabay. They'll be addressing your questions on opportunities and how you can be a part of the Accenture's F&A team. Let's get started. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in. I have one from our audience. I believe this would be for our business leaders. So, Shavan or Stephen, go ahead. This is the question. As A&I becomes more integrated into F&A operations, like forecasting, reporting, reconciliation, and fraud detection, what are the key security and risk considerations we should be aware of, and how are we prepared for it?
That's a great question from Loris, right? And thanks, Kat. I'll probably try and address my understanding and then pass it over to Stephen. But uh, just just from AI as a concept, a lot of the questions that we get from our clients is also around what Loris just asked, right? In terms of how secure is it? When we look at reporting, reconciliations, etc., where do we really get the data from to make it more effective? So what we're really talking about is the large language modules, the LLM, the databases, right? Now, if you look at Google's, the chat GPTs of the world, they are open source, right? So the data is available in the open internet. We go look for that information and come through. In our space today, where Accenture is heavily invested in, is we've spent about $3 billion in creating two things, and primarily in generative AI, right? The ask there was to try and create our own LLMs within the finance and accounting space to try and understand if the data is available from a certain client. The intent right now and the focus right now is not to open that up to the industry, right? But to bring in generative AI to understand and mine through the data that the client already has and provide them with informed decisions, right? And that's typically where we are taking our generative AI story. The intent is to do this in a very secure manner, and hence we are building our own LLM models and ensuring that we are able to cater to that kind of ask. I hope that answered your question, Loris, and I'll hand it over to Stephen to add some perspective around it. Right?
Thanks, Ravan. Loris, to your question, right, around what are the key security and risk considerations? Accenture has invested heavily into Gen AI, and we're looking at, before we deploy any AI assets, we're also making sure that we are addressing any concerns or any of these risks. Some of the ones which are not immediately um, apparent, but are definitely very real, given the way LLMs work, is some you know unrevealed or unintentional bias, right? Where because you have a because you have AI that scrolls through multiple sources of information, which might have some inherent biases in them, unintentionally the AI might pick on that, right? And that's definitely something that we do not want to happen. For example, applying generative AI to resourcing on the HR front, trying to hire people, right? If you are looking for an engineer and Gen AI tries to look at which candidates have succeeded, it could very well be that, oh, it notices a trend. The most successful ones are generally men. It fails to consider the fact that, well, because 90% of people in that field are men. And so it will feed you candidates with a bias, right? It will feed you a disproportionate number of male candidates. So we definitely need to look at that. Another security risk we need to look at is because a lot of these models take in publicly available information. If you feed enough fraudulent information into the model, these models might take it as fact and use it in decision making. Right? So those types of risks, those more sophisticated ways of committing fraud and phishing, those are definitely risks that we definitely try to look at when we look at the opportunities to deploy these assets.
I hope that satisfied your interest there, Loris. I'm moving on to the next question. This one goes out to our recruitment leaders. Maybe Sagar, you can take this on.
Sure.
This is a question from Ved. How to enter finance as a fresher? I have done BCom honors in accounts and business statistics, but can you give me more guidance?
Sure, I'll take this one, Kat. To your question, we have these options available on the career website for Accenture. Once you go onto the careers page, you will definitely get an option to explore the open jobs that we have. And when we move along in the call here, I will also take you through on how to apply, how to explore the available jobs that we have in Accenture, and the steps to apply for it. So I will definitely guide you with the process flow. We have that as part of this session.
All right, so stay tuned. Hang in there, Ved. We will get to that in a bit. I have another question here. This is from Anuj Ashani, but I think there's going to be a combination of perspective here, one from our recruitment and from our operations. Let me read it out. Currently, I'm in retail banking, but I want to transition into operations role. How can I do the same with Accenture? Maybe we can start with recruitment before operations share their insights as well. Is Julie or Sagar?
Okay, so here, Anuj, I see a question. If you want to get into operations from retail banking, definitely see there. Like I said earlier, also there are the options that we take people through in terms of the job openings that we have. It is very important that you look at the job description that is available, and if it matches to your experience that you have from your retail banking, we do have some banking roles within Accenture as well. You can definitely apply for it, and probably if the fitment matches, our team will definitely reach out to you for the further evaluation process.
That's the
Um,
next. That's the first step. Go ahead, Stephen.
I was just going to add from a delivery standpoint, right? As a person who runs teams, if I to your question, Anuj, and thank you for that question. If I take a look at the composition of my team in terms of their backgrounds, it is a very diverse group. I've had, you know, people who worked in front office of retail banking. I've had, people who worked in manufacturing, right? I've had other people who've worked in, engineers, right? Working in the service industry who have joined my team. Personally, when I start, my first job was as an economist and an assistant professor at university, right? That was my first job. And invariably, from that, I went on to become a financial controller for one of the largest banks in the world before joining Accenture. So, you know, in terms of what we're looking for, I generally go by the mantra of I can address aptitude, but not attitude. If you have right that the right attitude towards coming in, bettering yourself, working and delivering for our clients, and knowing how to collaborate and operate within the context of a team, right? Then we will definitely have a role for you.
Uh-huh. I hope we've given you some perspective there, Anuj, and don't let it overwhelm you. Know more. I think the first step really was to ask. Second is to learn more about the Accenture opportunities. I have another question here. This one is coming from Arvin. What skills should we master as finance professionals? Shravan, you want to take this on?
Absolutely. I think, again, I think some of these are on the softer aspects, and that's a great question from that angle, right? I think most of us who come in with some bit of graduation come in with a certain skill set that we learn through our colleges and education, right? But the key aspect also is what our work experience really teaches us, right? One of the things that I would say is from a finance professional, be aware of changing market trends in terms of in the finance and accounting world, right? When we look at it, accounting per se doesn't really change, right? The way we account has been standard for many 100 years, right? It continues to stay same. What's really going to change is how we adapt to the technology that enable that. That's one. And the second aspect is when we really, from an Accenture or a career perspective, we don't really cater to just our environment in our surrounding, right? Most of our clients are global clients. So typically, whom we really work for could be anywhere in the world, right? And the finance and accounting landscape in those countries, in those environments, in those industries, like Stephen mentioned, could be very different. Understanding that and keeping ourselves up to date in that is very important. And that's where I think one of the things in finance and accounting is our learning never really stops, right? A simple example is taxation guidelines, right? Taxation guidelines would probably change year on year or every few years. Just keeping ourselves appraised about that helps us better service our clients, right? So those are simple aspects, right? Hope that's helpful, Arvind.
Arvin, give us a comment there if you're satisfied with the response, but hopefully giving you some guidance as well. Not a question, but I'm reading one comment here. I am from IBM, and I noticed that Accenture and IBM has the same nature of work. I'm excited to be a part of Accenture. Stay tuned to know more how to get to that step. Another question from Pauline. What are the current goals the company is focused on, and how does the team work to support hitting these goals?
I I can go from a business perspective, right? Now, obviously internally, right? As with any organization, we do look at, of course, what we do for three sets of people: our clients, our shareholders, and our employees. Right? Accenture, as the leadership team, have very explicit goals across those three groups. Obviously, for our shareholders, that's pretty straightforward, right? We definitely want to deliver profitable returns. For our clients, our promise to our client is not to perform these processes day in and day out flawlessly. That is the base commitment that we have. Our promise to them is to take them on a journey of innovation and transformation, and through that, deliver business outcomes to their organizations. Right? It's not about doing one thing in a timely manner, doing it with 99% accuracy. It is how do we influence and drive improvements in the paid on time rate for our vendors? How do we drive improvements in their collection efficiency, whether it be through the use of technology, Six Sigma practices, or what have you? Right? And of course, for our employees, rewarding careers. That's all everything we talked about from a training perspective, from a career opportunity and growth perspective. Those are all goals that Accenture is focused on, and everything that we do, right, is targeted towards achieving those goals.
Thank you, Stephen. Pauline, when you're asking about goals, this leads us to believe that you're serious about the opportunity in Accenture. I have one more question here for our recruitment leaders. Maybe Julie, you can take this on. Accenture offers diverse career paths in finance and accounting. Can you share some insights on the types of roles available and what skills you look for in potential candidates?
All right. So, for the rest of the candidates and folks here in the call, so whether you're just starting your career or have an experience already, so we are looking for people who can contribute to Accenture, particularly in finance and accounting, dynamic and fast paced. work environment. Because in Accenture, change is constant and it's because we aim to be better. We love to innovate and, of course, help drive our business success with us. So we seek candidates with strong finance and accounting fundamentals, technical expertise, and key soft skills such as attention to detail, problem solving, and adaptability. If you're passionate about the finance, eager to grow, and want to work with the global clients in a dynamic environment, this is your opportunity. Join us and take the next step in your finance career.
Wow. So just a glimpse of what the opportunities are in Accenture. Do I see any more questions there? Good to see that from the comment section that we're drawing interest from people outside of the BPO industry. Shall we move on? We're ready to take on your questions offline. So if you have them or if you think about them as we go, just chat them, and we're happy to take them up offline. So really great engagement. Love to see the comments there. Hope you found those tips and words of wisdom from our experts helpful. A big thank you again to our speakers. But now let's shift our focus on the next important step, and that's in exploring your careers and navigating the Accenture Careers Portal. Now, to help you navigate your next steps, our recruitment leads from India and the Philippines will take a few minutes to walk you through the Accenture Careers Portal. They'll share tips on how to search for relevant opportunities using the right keywords and what to keep in mind when applying. So stay glued. Over to you, Sagar.
Thank you, Kat. Okay, sure. So just to take you through the Accenture careers, you'll have to just go through the login. And once you log in, as soon as you do go there on the page, you will see a careers option just in the top center. And from there, you'll have, once you click the career section, it will take you, navigate you to the next page, which will be your search jobs. Now, here in the search jobs, it is extremely important that you put in the required keywords, which means, let just for an example, that if you are coming in from a general accounting background, you mention your keywords such as general accounting, record to report, then the ERP that you worked for could be a SAP or maybe Oracle, whatever you have worked with, and then also mention the city that you're looking for. For example, if you're looking at in India, let's say for a Bangalore, you can mention the Bangalore as a city, and then when you've done with those keywords, put it as a search, and then once you search, it will show you all the jobs matching to the keywords that you have put across the search bar. And you'll have to just toggle between the option that you see all jobs, and wherever you see that it's matching to the relevant role that you're looking for, you simply need to open. Once you open, you can review the job description. So once you see the complete job description, it will give you an idea in terms of what, as a company, as Accenture, what we are looking for. Second, from a skills perspective, what is the expectation that we have from the candidate? Could be from the overall prior experience, the expectations from the new role, how are you going to manage it with the client, etc. If you think that your expectation in terms of the role is matching to what you're looking for, simply you can go ahead and apply now. Yeah. Once you apply now, it will take you to an application process. The application process will have two sections. One, um, if you're a new user, you need to click on the start application. It's there in the bottom. You'll have to click on the start application, and then you create the IDs from the beginning. The ones who are already registered with the company, they simply need to mention their email address and the password, and it will take you through the application process. As soon as you enter, it will show you a dialog box wherein you have to upload your resume. And then on the same page, there are multiple sections to it. So you'll have to go step by step. It's important that you fill in all the steps with the complete information. From uploading your resume, the next step would be your My Information bar, wherein you'll have to update every information about yourself, your complete name, your email address, date of birth, your prior experience, whatever is there in your resume has to be accurately mentioned there. Once you update everything completely, you simply have to move to continue. It will take you to the next step. in terms of your additional information. The additional information is also mandatory for you to fill. Let's say the nationality, the citizenship, and the PAN card details are extremely important. So if you don't fill this up, it will not allow you to move to the next page. So hence, you'll have to ensure that these additional information and all those boxes that you see are filled with the complete details. It also then asks you to update your address, the complete address, including your postal code, state, city, country, everything needs to be there. You'll have a drop down option. You need to select from there. Your PIN code and everything should match as per the valid proofs that you have. Okay. Once you fill in, it will then take you to the next page in terms of your experience. There in the experience, it is important that you fill in your available skills that you have in your, maybe the ones you're showing in your resume, the experience that you carry. Probably, just for an example, you can select up to 5 skills there. It could be general accounting, your collections experience, your accounts to your report to reporting, or your payable experience. And then it will also allow you to select your ERP, like I've informed earlier as well. It could be SAP, it could be Oracle, Viva, whatever you coming up with. Just mention your experience there and then continue. Once you do that, it will ask you for certain more questions in terms of your number of years of experience you have, any specific skill that you want to add on, and then the education details. Your education details clearly calls out for you to update your university, your degree, and every other input that you want to mention from your schooling till your college, your degree, everything needs to be there. It will also ask you for the dates. So from whatever date that year you've completed the course or the degree, that needs to get updated there. Once you do that, it will move to the next page. It will redirect you to upload your picture. Either you can upload a picture or you can click from the camera. You can simply take the photograph and then upload it. If you don't do the upload there, it will again not allow you to move forward. But here it is very important that once you upload your photo, there are some rules that you follow. You'll have to be very clear in front of the camera, look forward, make sure the room is the background from the room where you're sitting at, it has no disturbance in the background, it has a clear image that comes in so that the system captures it clearly. Once you fill that, it will take you to a review tab, which means whatever information so far you've been able to add from your step one in terms of your login and then moving into your personal details, your experience, your education, it will give you an option to review the details completely. Once you review, if you want to make any change, please select back, then update the details, again move forward. If you're good with the details, simply continue and it will give you an option to submit the application. Before you submit, it will also show you a dialog box wherein you need to refer to the terms and condition. Once you're referring to the terms and condition, you're good with it, please check the box and then submit. And once you submit, your application gets submitted with Accenture, and post we review, the internal teams review it and it matches the criteria. Post evaluation process basis eligibility, the team starts reaching out to the candidates. That's all. I hope I was able to explain it better. In case of any questions, please feel free to drop there in the comments box and I will come back with a response. Thank you. Over to you, Kat.
Julie, were you covering career openings in the Philippines?
Hi, Miss Katya. I'll be covering it. All right. So, here in Accenture Philippines, what do we have in store for you guys? So, we have a variety of career opportunities in finance and accounting, ranging from entry level positions to roles for experienced hires. So, what you've seen in the screen right now are the open roles we are currently hiring for in the Philippines, along with the QR codes that you can scan. So, these codes will direct you to the Workday, which is the tool that we are using in recruitment, where you can view the full job descriptions, including the day-to-day task, required qualifications, and where you can submit your applications. So if you have some questions, feel free to drop as well here in the chat box and we will get back to you for queries in regards to your application.
Thank you, Sagar and Julie. So, to our audience, go ahead, explore the Accenture Careers portal, check out the opportunities available. And just like that, we are almost at the top of the hour. Hope this was a productive and educational day for you, as it was for us. A huge thank you to our speakers for their insights, our recruitment leads for guiding us through career opportunities, and of course, all participants from all over the world for your engaging questions. Special thanks to Geeks for Geeks. This is the team who's responsible for today's live session. We hope today's discussion has deepened your understanding of the future of finance and accounting and the exciting paths ahead. This is definitely just the beginning, and we're looking forward to connecting with you again soon. So until then, stay curious, keep learning, and see you again soon. Good day.